let's hear your thoughts on the Odyssey trailer.
So as far as the trailer goes, the trailer wasn't anything spectacular. It showed some cool shots, and had a few lines from John Bernthal's character that got me excited for it. But just the fact that you hadn't seen it before the theater, and that it's just a Christopher Nolan movie. I mean, we are such big, huge fans of Christopher Nolan that anytime he puts something out, I get really excited. But this didn't have the same pull that like Dark Knight Rises, Dark Knight, Inception, and Interstellar. Like those movies, their teaser trailers were just like I remember Inception's teaser trailer was because you just had no idea what this was even going to be about, and it was right after Dark Knight that he put out Inception, and it's just I just remember seeing that and just being kind of blown. Like I could not wait to find out more about that movie.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll be honest with you. The apologies for the I'm moving my mic around for the audio listeners. I don't want to be too difficult on the trailer or too hard on it because like I'm the type of person the less I see before a movie the better. But with all the hype built into it, again, that we as fans did, the fact that they're saying, "Hey, we're only going to show this in theaters," which, by the way, I absolutely love that. That that Christopher Nolan does this because I think it's a great thing for movie theaters. And we talk, I talk all the time about how much I love those movie trailer moments, memories, all that different stuff when you used to have to go to a movie to see stuff. But in terms of this trailer, I did think it was a smart move to show Tom Holland and John Bernthal because those two guys, again, we all know MCU, that's like a big time draw for a lot of people. And I think it creates like this, golly, that like now they're in a Nolan film, especially Tom Holland with like kind of how he's looking for that. I think this is going to be a really big movie for his career.
It's got to be because
Yeah.
other than Spider-Man, like he has made some very interesting choices as far as like projects.
Yeah.
But I'm with you that I can't be too critical that man they didn't show hardly anything, and then we're constantly complaining that God they showed the whole movie.
Here's the issue I had with the trailer though is like I don't care that they didn't show anything crazy. I'm glad they didn't. I would have liked to have seen like a moment to where there was like this feeling of revealing something kind of cool. But I actually like how they didn't show much of the whole cast. I mean, this cast is loaded with like Charlize Theron, Robert Pattinson, and the only again, unless it was a quick shot that I missed.
Amen.
Yeah, you got Matt Damon in there, and obviously, and then you have John Bernthal and Tom Holland. I did like the dialogue from John Bernthal. I know a lot of people online have been saying like, his accent is what I personally don't care about that. I kind of have the Ben Affleck in The Town where there's that story where Jeremy Renner was kind of talking about like, man, I want to make sure I sound from Boston. And Ben Affleck goes, I'm not really worried about the Boston accent. I just want it to sound like we grew up together. And so that's kind of the feeling I have too. I think it's more of a distraction when people try to do an accent and it's horrible.
Yeah.
And Bernthal's going to kill it in this movie. He's going to kill it. But I do like the scene of like showing Matt Damon on the raft. I did like some of the cinematography we saw. The the trailer itself was edited so bizarrely though, because towards that part where they had the raft and they did that whole scene or that whole part of the trailer, it just abruptly went to the Odyssey. And it was just, I don't know, it was a bizarre editing style that I've never seen. And I thought like, golly, like that's weird because I started thinking, of course Nolan's going to make sure this looks as good as it can look like before it gets released. So I'm almost wondering if that's strategic, if he's going to adopt like a new editing style in the Odyssey that we haven't seen from Christopher Nolan. Because if you really think about it, Christopher Nolan definitely has a style with how he edits movies, especially, the last 20 minutes of a movie. He's got like 3 different things going on at once and they kind of converge, quick cuts around different topics and scenes. I'm almost wondering if there's going to be a new editing style within this movie or if this trailer just was not edited right, because that felt so jarring to me when I was watching it that it kind of took me out of it.
I feel like he just wanted to kind of put out there that, hey, we're making, and obviously the people that follow films are going to know that this is being made. But not everyday Joes are going to know that, oh, they're remaking the Odyssey and it's the same guy that did Oppenheimer and Dark Knight and all that. So I do think that it looked a little different than most of his stuff because most of his stuff just kind of like it almost plays like a small section of a scene and then it'll have some music played over. But this was a little bit different because it had intercuts of different scenes throughout. But again, the trailer itself, I didn't think it was mind blowing or anything. It definitely wasn't on the same scale as the ones I listed before. So yeah, I just think it's one of those things that it sounds a little bit different than or it looks a little bit different than his other stuff. And again, does it match up to his previous work? No, but
I just think if you're gonna have this trailer come out and you're gonna advertise it and do all this stuff, I'll be honest, man. If you took the Chris Nolan name out of it, and I'm just watching that teaser trailer, there's not enough there for me where I was like super excited about the movie. And again, if you're just going to announce that the movie's there and you want to announce the cast, I thought it would have been almost just as effective to just literally put the cast list on the screen, show who's in the movie, and show one shot of Matt Damon coming up on the shore or something like that. Like, I just felt like it was edited so bizarrely that I'm very interested to see more from the movie. And I think that if we all kind of took a step back, because we know the movie's going to at least be visually stunning, and we know that the movie's going to be at least pretty good at the worst, because we just know that. Like, the track record says itself. But in terms of just the trailer, if I'm just rating the trailer, I mean, I was definitely disappointed in it. Maybe my hype was a little too high. Maybe there's not that built-in, like kind of like when you saw The Dark Knight Rises and you saw Bane for the first time, or saw Dark Knight and you heard Joker's voice for the first time. There's that built-in anticipation of a specific moment. And I guess, like you said, this one was more about just like, hey, if you know the Odyssey, you know that this is pretty epic. You know what these characters are talking about. But I'm just talking about for general audiences. I'm not sure. I would be interested to see how, like, leaving the theater, how excited people were. I didn't get that vibe in the theater when you see an amazing trailer where you almost can feel it in the auditorium, where like people are like, dude, that looks great. I didn't get that vibe from this in my showing, but that's just me. But overall, I mean, again, I'm excited for the movie, but the trailer was just okay. I mean, it wasn't a great, in my opinion, it was just an okay trailer. I mean, that's just the honest truth of it,
I would rather that than them show
too much. Absolutely. I'm being very critical because I expect, like, Nolan's trailers are usually just like 10 out of 10 for me. Like, just amazing trailers, especially the teasers, because they're just so, but we know it's going to be, we'll be there opening day. We'll see it on the biggest screen possible.